Oh, shit, I didn't know that. Okay, 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 let's, well, can you pause the recording? Yeah, just pause. Good afternoon, Michael Malice here. Let that be your welcome for the next hour. This is going to be an episode for the ages because we have Jay Carnicom here from Dads Against Predators. Jay, I want to thank the YouTube gods for delivering your content to me. For people who don't know what you and your organization do, and we have to use careful language here because this is YouTube and this is something
Right.
that they like kicking people off, demonetizing for. I'm sure that's happened to you many
Yeah.
times. We'll talk about that in a second. You and your
Yeah.
boys um, trap, I don't know if that's the right word. You get people who are trying to meet up with kids, straight up kids, and
Yeah.
you meet them at, like, it's always like Marshalls for some reason, and then you basically slap the crap out of them, film them, put it on the internet, and shame them. And a lot of
Yeah.
times people ask me, they say that anarchism doesn't work. I'm like, "This is what it looks like. This is
Yeah.
people, dads, taking control of their own communities and teaching some very ugly people," and they always are really ugly, literally,
Yeah.
people a
Right.
lesson. I have so many questions, I don't even know where to start. Uh,
For sure.
the first thing I guess I wanna start is, who was there a group meeting where people were passing a bowl, and they're like, "Alright, let's start doing this?" Like, who even had this idea?
So originally Chris Hansen, right? Chris Hansen, we grew up watching him, and then he kind of was off the internet. Like we just he vanished. And then there was another group who me and my buddy Joshua Mundy. He's a big fan of yours too. We started this together, and we started in 2019 around then, and we watched this one group. They were called Pop Squad, and we seen them catch like 100 people, and we were like, it all always seemed to be in the same area, and so we're like, there's no way that you can catch this many child predators in like a one area, and so like we just had to find out. And within the first from the first night I got on and I tried to catch somebody, 24 hours later, we already caught 3 guys. And so from then we were just like, this is insane. Like adults are ready to meet up with children like like that. It was really mind blowing. And since we've done it, we've had a lot of people start, a lot of groups starting to do what we're doing, and not just watching what we do, but like you said, a lot of people are doing it, and a lot of people are pissed off with the police not,
Yep.
maybe they were sexually assaulted or somebody they know were, and the police couldn't do anything about it. So it's like you said, it's just people taking the shit in their own hands, honestly.
So the big question I think a lot of people in here have a reaction is, how do you know you're not just meeting some innocent guy and ruining his life? Because obviously that's a very bad thing to do.
Yeah, we've never done that. Every single time that the person that we're meeting, we have all the screenshots. We always have call logs. Like we talk to them. Like as a little boy, I'll just be like, "Hey, I'll meet you at Marshalls," and we got all that
Wait,
recorded.
hold on, hold on, hold on, hold on. Wait, I knew that as this interview goes along, it's just gonna get sicker and sicker because there's such dark, dark stuff. So I thought it was just like texts. They're actually talking to these dudes, and they can't even. So one of the things, there's this guy who's a prominent anti war activist named Scott Ritter, and he went to jail twice for this. And I think the argument is, oh, it was just role play, right? And you can theoretically make the argument like two people are on chat and one's pretending to be this or whatever. Like you can understand that. So they're actually on the phone. So they didn't even have that defense.
No, there's no defense because as soon as we start talking to them, we say the age almost the first, second, or the third message. We're saying, "Hey, I'm 11, I'm 12, I'm 13," and then the conversation goes on. Obviously, with somebody saying, I mean, not a child predator, they're just going to cut it off right there. That's what most people do. They just block you. They stop talking to you. And so if it just keeps going and going, and and they want to meet up and all that, we'll always usually call them. Whether it's me acting like a little boy, or if it's a girl, if they want to meet a little girl, I have a person that's 21 years old that just plays the little girl voice, and and we watch them walk in. We're not usually saying we're going to meet here and then we just show up and we're just waiting there. We want to watch that person get out of their car or walk up. That way we have an idea of what we're about to encounter and making sure it's actually them and everything like that.
Um, uh, I mean, I grew up on the Jerky Boys, which was a series of prank phone calls that they made into tapes and CDs. I'm showing my age. I I How do you, like, keep composure when you're acting like a kid talking to someone who is like this? I mean, you're a dad, right? Obviously, dads
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
got 5 kids.
right.
Yes, sir.
So, it's personal, for you as it's something
Right.
that matters to anybody, but, like, it's also personal for you. So, how are you, like, not wanting to, like, just put your fist through the phone? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really hard. Honestly, the way I handle it, because these guys are saying such gross, nasty stuff. A lot of times, I'm with my boys doing it, and a lot of times I kind of try to be funny to kind of to use that to what I mean, not think so much and not be so into it. So I just try to laugh at it. But well, and also I've done it a lot of times. But once we meet, once I see that person's actually there to meet a kid, it's kind of, it's business like. It's business like because it's so nasty and it's so gross and it's always there with every single guy I talk to, with every predator we catch. It's always gross, you know what I mean? But just kind of staying business like. Like I said, I was molested when I was a kid. These guys are demons. You know what I'm saying? With my buddy that I started with, Josh, he has his own story with a family member being touched and the police not doing anything. So
Yep.
I mean, these guys are just demons, man. And it's like you just got to stay there because you can ruin it if you fuck up, if you get mad or anything, then they won't come meet. So just kind of staying poised until we can actually get them in person.
Well, good for you for talking about this because I don't know if you're aware of this. My buddy Matt, and he asked me to use his name if I talk about it. He came
Okay.
out to me not that long ago as being the victim of childhood abuse, and I talked about it on Rogan. And after I talked about it on Rogan, a bunch of people who I knew came out to me, and then some strangers emailed me as well. And it made me realize how pervasive this stuff is, and it also angers me a lot because much of the misinformation in the corporate press is this isn't a big a deal. Let's worry about racism or climate change. And it's like,
Right.
this is something that I thought until 5 minutes ago was not a political issue. That protecting kids
Yeah.
from something like this is something that's just 101 stuff. And whenever I hear one of these stories, I talk about this all the time because I think people are oblivious to the nature of evil. There was like this CNN producer, and he's arrested. And whenever I always go and look what they're for, right? And I always hope it's like they're watching like cheerleaders getting drunk and like putting like whipped cream on themselves. And with that one, it was infants and children tied to a chair. But the thing is, Jay, there's message boards. So it's not like there's this one guy in some basement somewhere, having these fantasies. Like there's networks and people are creating this kind of content. The New York Times reported that they have I think the FBI, I believe it is, has an wing to try to combat this, and they don't have enough people to just handle the infant stuff. So it is so, and the fact that there's not more resources toward this really disturbs me. Why do you think that is? If you have any ideas.
Oh man, what I have no clue. That's one of the biggest things. Other than actual child predators and men trying to meet up with kids or adults trying to meet up with kids, the police are not doing what they should. We all know they're writing tickets. They're on the side of the highways with their guns, and me and my partner, we show up in any city you want. It doesn't matter where it's at. Austin, Texas. It could be Toledo, Ohio. Wherever we're at, we've never been to a city for less than 2 days, and we've never caught 5 or 6 guys. And so when we deal with the police, and sometimes we get in little arguments with the police because they say you need to leave this to us, and it's like, with all due respect, we just showed up and we caught 6 child predators in 48 hours, and all it took was 2 guys with a cell phone. It didn't take much. You guys are sitting, you're writing tickets, and you just need to worry about kids, fix your priorities a little bit, and there could be so many more child predators off the streets. I guess Michael, it's money. Maybe they don't make as much money off the child predators as much as they would writing a ticket. You know what I'm saying? I guess that would be it. I don't want to say it's because the people at the top are all child predators. Obviously, there's going to be some, but and that's what some people will say. Well, they're child predators too. Maybe that's it, but I think it's just a deep rooted problem that the system is fucked. Honestly.
Folks, no one wants to think about debt, but the cold, hard truth of it is many of us will get deeper in debt during the holidays. Last year, half of American consumers took on debt to pay for the holidays. And this year, that could be you, could be me. It's never too early to start planning to get out. And my friends at PDS Debt can help with a personalized solution just for you. If you're making payments every month on your debt and your balances aren't going down, PDS has solutions. Everyone with $10,000 or more in eligible debt qualifies, and there's no minimum credit score required. Bad and fair credit are accepted. So save more while paying off your debt in a fraction of the time. Here's the other thing. I've had to deal with like credit card debt in the past, and it's really frustrating because it hangs over your head. You can never escape it. Whatever you want to buy, you think about what this means for your finances. It's just like having this monkey on your back. It's really a pain in the ass. So start planning today. Get a free debt analysis right now at pdsdebt.com/malice. Takes 30 seconds. That's pdsdebt.com/malice. pdsdebt.com/malice. Let's get back to the show. You said something, again, like I knew, like as the interview goes on, it's just going to get worse and worse. Me and my stupid naivete, I thought you're meeting these. They were trying to meet a kid, buy him candy, take him to an Indigo Girls concert. That it's going to be this kind of gradual. They get the kid's trust, and then they start crossing
Yeah.
lines. They haven't even met the kid. You're telling me, and they're saying like just upfront horrific stuff.
Oh man, this one couple that comes to mind, it was a man and a woman.
Of
They
course.
both they both were they both wanted a 12-year-old girl, and I got phone calls, probably 20 minutes of phone calls where they're both on the phone, and the girl's like, she's talking to what she thinks is a little girl, and she's saying the most nastiest sexual things you can think of, and the guy's like, your mom doesn't know about this, right? And the decoy acting as a little girl says no, and she says, well, they say, well, how about you run away with us? We're going to move here soon. We'll take you across the country. We'll go to California, and you can just live with us, and we'll take care of you. And they're trying to kidnap this little girl. Like they're actually trying to kidnap this little girl, and then I present the evidence to the detectives, and because one loophole or another, they don't get in trouble. And so that there's people that say leave it to the police. There's people that it's like if you just only knew what you think is going to happen if you leave it to the police, nothing's going to happen. No, I mean, this person does not get exposed. You don't know this kid wants to have sex and kidnap children if there isn't just a regular person, trying to shine a light on this, because the police aren't going to do it. And but yes, these guys are very sexual. And now sometimes people get mad, because I'll put the screenshots on my locals where all my full videos are. I'll put the screenshots there, and they'll say this guy didn't even say anything sexual. He said he wanted to be friends with the little boy. And it's like you're meeting this guy off of a dating app. He's 13 years old, and just because you're smart, you're smarter predator than you're not dumb enough to say, yeah, I'm going to come have sex with you. The police aren't going to they're not going to get you in any sort of trouble. If you don't say anything sexual in a lot of places, the police can't do anything. So as a father, as parents, and just anybody in the society, we know what a grown man is trying to meet up with a 12-year-old boy at 1 o'clock in the morning. We know what he's doing. It doesn't matter if he's trying to be friends, if he just says he's trying to be friends. That's not right. Nobody's okay with having their kid being picked up online. So it's like there's the nasty ones that they're bad too. I mean, obviously they're saying what they want. That's disgusting. But even the ones that are saying, "Oh, let's just be friends," they're just as bad. You know what I mean?
What kind of I'm sorry, like what kind of grown man wants to be friends with a 12-year-old that he met on the computer? And even pretending the predator stuff's not real, like that doesn't make any sense. It's one thing like, oh, I'm friends with my nephew, or my neighbors are going on a trip. I'll watch their kid, but you're not friends with the kid, or you can mentor them. Maybe someone's a single mom, and you want to have be a father figure in a positive way, something like that. But you're not literally just hang out one on one for some stranger. That's not a thing. I gotta ask, um, do they? You would think I don't know. I don't know what's more disturbing if there's two scenarios. Either they know nothing's going to happen, or they're stupid. But point being, like, aren't they ever wondering how this 13-year-old kid's getting to Marshalls? Does their not radar not go off?
I think they're just really. I think the radar goes off because a lot of times they'll be like, "Hey, you might be a police. Send me a picture with three fingers up and today's date. Send me my name. Whatever like that." So a lot of times they are asking these questions, but I mean, you'd be surprised. I caught this guy. He was an eighth grade band teacher, and all the parents loved him. He was loved at the school and everything, and he thought a 12-year-old boy was. I told him I was stealing my mom's car and I was driving 20 minutes to go see him, and he believed it. And he showed up at this park waiting for this 12-year-old boy. And it's like, you got to be a dumbass to think a 12-year-old's about to steal a car and come see you, man. But they're so, I think what it is, Michael, is they don't have a chance to act on these things that their deepest desires. And I think when it comes across on this dating app or on Facebook or Instagram, and I say, "Hey, I'm 13," they go, "Shit! Like here it is." You know what I mean? I've been thinking about this. I've been wanting to do this. Here's my chance, and so they just don't pass up on that chance.
What what
You know what I'm saying?
what dating app is this? Kinder? What's it called?
There's Grinder. That's really huge for guys trying to meet up with little boys, and then there's Scout. That's usually we use that for a little girl decoy. And then honestly, like just Facebook and Whisper or Facebook and Instagram. You make a profile. You put your age as 11 years old, and you're gonna get thousands of friend requests from
No.
people. Oh my God, it's insane. It's the craziest thing to see.
I was having a nice day. I
Yeah,
had a
yeah,
great
man.
weekend. I went to a museum. We had a lovely time. We saw some art. Okay,
And
go ahead.
I was gonna say, and you've seen a predator out there walking around. You just didn't know it yet, man. That's what sucks.
Um, uh, okay, I don't even know where to go from here. Okay, but here's the other question: how big are you? Because you're getting rough with these guys. Like, I'm a small dude. Are you like a big guy?
I'm 6'3". I played basketball and stuff my whole life. I'm not a fighter. I don't know how to fight, but I mean, I can, just a little bit. But yeah, I'm not that guy. It's just a lot of times me, I'll show up and I'm like, because I've been doing this since 2020. I've gotten in a lot of fights. I've been to jail for this a couple of times, and I don't. Usually, it's not what I show up to do. Is when I see this guy, I'm gonna smack him right away. That's not what I do. It's usually if they don't try to answer the questions and they run away, I'll smack them and shit. Or if they just sit there and they're like one guy that he went viral because we smacked him. He was like, "I just want to be friends with him." What's wrong with being friends with a 12-year-old boy? And it's like the audacity, like that motherfucker needed smacked, and I smacked him, and he acted like there was no way that he could be smacked. And so it's like these guys they're so sick and they're nasty, and they're in this little world that the police, they know the police aren't going to do anything, and so they think everything's okay. It's like, no, man, we know what the fuck you're doing. We know what you're trying to do.
Well, okay, so the smacking, which first of all, it's exactly like the Chappelle show because it's always a fat finger to the face. It's not even like a slapping them. It's like you're shoving an invisible pie in their face. It's really, really funny. But my question is, when you started this, um, did you start this with the intention of, if we got to get rough, we're gonna? Was the intention we want to get rough with these guys, or was it just we want to Chris Hansen them?
So in the beginning, we wanted to Chris Hansen them. We wanted to call the police. We wanted the police to come. We wanted to give all the evidence. For the first month that me and Joshua did this, we were in the police. We were in our Fremont, Ohio. We were in our local police for like 3 hours a day, giving them evidence, doing this and that, and then at the end they would say, "We can't do anything." And so it
Wait,
went
can I ask?
from, and
Let
then
me ask. Hold on. When they said we can't do anything, was it did they feel bad, or was it more that they're annoyed that you're putting this in their lap?
So in the beginning, they were like, "Thank you guys. We all have kids, because they're the police officers. They're just
Yeah,
dads.
of
You know what I
course,
mean? The
yeah.
detectives, they're dads, and so they're like, "Thank you for kind of bringing this up and shining a light on this. This is awesome. We didn't, we have kids. We didn't know this. There was this many people out here trying to meet up with kids actively, but we can't do anything because you're not a police officer." And so, and then after like 10 more catches, and then a lot of people calling their phones saying, "Why aren't you guys arresting these people?" Then they started to get annoyed with us. And then we went down the road to a different county, and then we caught a predator and got him arrested with the police, just to kind of show that, hey, 10 miles down the road, they're not doing this. And so we started out like, hey, let's get arrests. If they want to fight us, we'll fight. We'll do what we got to do, but that's not what we're here for. And then somebody grabbed my phone, smacked my phone, and threw it. And then I beat him up because he touched my stuff. And then the police came, and then he got in trouble and I got in trouble. And then it was like, wait a second, you mean I can smack you and I'll get in a little bit of trouble, but you will too? And then it just kind of grew with that. And catching these guys, and maybe the police didn't do nothing, and so we know, all right, if we go to Columbus, Ohio, the police don't give a fuck there. They're gonna say, you guys need to separate, leave them alone. That's all they're gonna say. So next time we go back to Columbus, Ohio, we're not gonna play nice. Now we're smacking you, because we need to set a standard that it's not okay to meet up with kids. And just because the police aren't going to do anything, you don't know who we might show up and you up. Like, and so that's kind of where it kind of took about 2 years for us to get there, I would say.
It's I don't know if I'm allowed or whatever. YouTube is like, point is, I think, look, I'm an anarchist, right? And I think if you're at a point where it's very, I would have to have certain things in place, right? It has to be very clear that this is not a teen, like underage, like a kid, where there's no question. This isn't someone in high school who's already done the deed, whatever. Like I can wrap my head around that. You can, we all can. That's very different, I think. Um, and they know they're doing this in secrecy, and if they show up physically at that point, it's just like, you have my blessing. Like go to town, go to town. It's just it's so, and I also like the idea that, um, let's I like the idea that you're making them scared, because there are these networks, and if it's gonna make someone at home be like, "Wait a minute, if I show up, I might get smacked, I might get my face blasted all over YouTube or whatever. Maybe I'll keep my disgusting self at home." Great, you, like, stop somebody else from meeting an actual kid.
Yeah, right, exactly. And some people will flip that and say, well, now they're going to be smarter and they're going to be more careful, and you can kind of turn it however you want. But it's if the police aren't going to do anything, what I mean, we're going to do something, and you're lucky as well. Like, we're going to fuck you up, and that's bad, and you're going to be exposed, and that's bad. But it could have been a police officer. You could be in actual jail, or it could be the kid's dad,
Yeah,
and
oh,
that
yeah.
motherfucker's probably going to kill you. And so, like, even though we're serving them a pretty good little sample of justice, but it could be worse. You know what I'm saying?
Wha Are
Definitely.
you guys, like, in, some kind of partnership with marshals? Because it's always marshals. I'm like, "Why do I love meeting a marshal so badly?"
We just always try to make them meet in public. So maybe sometimes Marshalls is open till 11. That's it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you just we were talking before we started recording, and you, like so many other of us, just recently moved to Austin. Like, can you? Is there a reason why that happened? That's welcome here, by the way. Congrats.
Oh man. Honestly, in my hometown, our addresses were getting leaked a lot.
Sure.
Where my mom lived, people were just being real weird, and so my partner, my boy Joshua Mundy, he went to Michigan, he went to Detroit, and I wanted to come out here just to, like, I love comedy, and so I was like, man, I'm gonna move to Austin. Austin's the shit. Let's head out there. Maybe I can catch a kill Tony. Still haven't been able to do that yet, but No, yeah, just wanted to move out here, and plus, I don't think anybody. There's no other predator because predator catching has gotten so big now. A lot of times, you go to somewhere and there's like a group there. I don't think there is anybody there at all, and so my plan is to just fucking clean Austin out, just go crazy, catch hundreds of guys in Austin, and kind of just, you know what I mean, just put our stamp there and just scare child predators in Austin, Texas.
Men's closets were due for a radical reinvention, and Roan stepped up to the challenge. Their commuter collection is the most comfortable, breathable, and flexible set of products known to man, and here's why. They will help you get ready for any occasion because their pants, dress shirts, quarter zips, and polos mean that you never have to worry about what to wear when you have their collection because it's made out of a four-way stretch fabric. You get breathability, you get flexibility, you're free to enjoy what life throws your way from your commute to work to your 18 holes of golf. With their wrinkle release technology, wrinkles disappear as you stretch and wear the products. It's that easy. And with their Gold Fusion anti-odor technology, you'll be smelling fresh and clean all day long. On top of that, Roan is 100% machine washable. You can ditch the dry cleaner altogether. It's comfortable, it's versatile, and you feel fresh after wearing it all day. The commuter collection can get you through work any day and straight into whatever comes next. So head to rhone.com/malice. Use promo code malice. You get 20% off your entire order. That's 20% off your entire order when you head to rhone.com/malice and use code malice. It's time to find your corner office comfort. Folks, life can be stressful, overwhelming, and it's not just your mind that suffers when you're tense and anxious because stress can make a mess of your digestive system and your immune system. But here's the thing, you can handle it with the help of Just Thrive Probiotic and Just Calm. For those of you who know, probiotics basically were a lifesaver for me. I took them years ago. I had stomach issues all my life. And that was the only sponsored episode I ever did with Tina Anderson, who's the CEO of this company, which does great work. If you're considering having something to try for your stomach issues, you think this is just normal, this is how it's going to be, I'm telling you from experience, this is something for a low price can have positive, profound, life-altering effects. And Just Calm is their exclusive mood-lifting blend, clinically proven to help you relax and breathe a little easier in as little as 4 weeks. And their probiotic, which is called Just Thrive, not only has 1,000 times better survivability than most probiotics, but it banishes bloat and constipation so your gut can produce more serotonin, which is that happy hormone that we all love and crave. And it supports better sleep. So you wake up feeling refreshed and revitalized. So with Just Calm and their Just Thrive probiotic, you have the ultimate stress fighting duo to help you win the day every day with a money back guarantee. What do you got to lose? For a limited time, you save 20% off site-wide at justthrivehealth.com with promo code WELCOME. That's justthrivehealth.com, promo code WELCOME. Let's get back to the show, and thank you so much to Just Thrive for their great products and their great work. Can you break down, because again, a lot of the claim is that this is really rare or it's blah, 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 all this other nonsense. Are there like profiling? Is this something from your experience that's going to be more common in like a big city like New York, or is it more common in a small town, or is it going to be kind of similar?
I'm thinking it's kind of it's big cities because obviously there's more people and stuff. But honestly, yeah, there's a lot of groups. There are groups in like smaller cities just because that's where that individual lives and he cares about his community, so he's trying to clean up his community. I do feel like there's going to be a lot of that, and then just the bigger cities just because there's a lot of people. I mean, there's child predators everywhere. Last weekend, I rode through the city, and I kid you not, it had 8,000 people in it. And I was just there. I wanted to ride through and ride out. I got in there and I turned around. I was there for 15 minutes, and a child predator wanted me to come to his house already, just like that. And so, I mean, these guys are everywhere. They're online. That's a huge thing. Obviously, is these guys are online, and Roblox and all kids, are playing games online and stuff, and that's big. But honestly, I was sexually molested by somebody that was like a family member, and that's how it is most of the
Yes,
times.
yes, it is.
Most of the real shit comes from somebody you know. So, it's I don't know where I'm going on with this, but it's just raising awareness and just bringing it to your attention, to parents and the kids' attention, that you just got to be look out for the signs and don't get too comfortable with people and just
One of the
figure that
things
out.
that Matt and I talked about, and I talk about a lot, is this is like, back in the day, it would be embarrassing if your parents got divorced or if mom was like an alcoholic or, dad was cheating. And now it's really like no one care. Like if you tell me, oh, your mom was a drunk, I feel bad for you, but I wouldn't think weirdly of you. But with something like this, when children are victims, people as adults are scared to talk about it because they don't know how people are going to react. And I think that's really sick because that encourages the person who's the victim to kind of have to deal with this on their own instead of being comfortable being like, this doesn't define me. I'm not a kid anymore. I'm still a normal human being. You could still make those fucked up jokes around me. I'm not going to flip my shit. Can you, there's 100% chance that there's some people watching this right now who have been the victims and they probably haven't even admitted to themselves. It often correlates to drug abuse and alcoholism, unresolved childhood trauma. Can you talk about what you would say to them?
Oh man, what I would say to them, yeah, I got my goosebumps are rising because I've been where you're at. I didn't tell like that happened to me, and then I grew up and I went through high school and I went to the army and I got out of the army and I got this job that was really really boring and I would sit there for 12 hours a day and I just had nothing but time to think, and it popped up in my mind that I was hiding something, and so it's really hard if you're like you said, if you're listening, it's really hard to just kind of take that and to embrace it and to tell yourself this is true. Shit, this did happen. That's what I had to do myself. I had to like tell myself, okay, this did happen. Like I've been pushing it way back. It's amazing how far you can push
Oh
things in your
yeah.
brain and forget about them. And so I started, remembering, and I told somebody about it. And that first person I told was my ex-wife, and she didn't really handle it too good, and it kind of
What did
made
she
me
do?
want to kind
What
of
happened?
keep it in. She just didn't really. She was like, oh, and like didn't say much about it.
Wasn't that your
And
fear
then
that she would react in a weird way?
yes, I was scared to tell anybody and
Yeah.
how they would react, and then I told her, and she didn't react how I wanted. And I think, and that kind of put me back a little bit. And so we started thinking about catching predators, and then we started catching predators, and I started looking at myself in the mirror and going to sleep, waking up with the same thought that I'm catching these child predators, but I still haven't called out or confronted my child predator. And so I felt like a bitch. I felt like the biggest bitch in the world. I felt, I was scared. I would see my child predator, my molester, I would see him at the fair or Walmart, and I'd walk by him and I'd be so scared. And even though I could beat him up, you know what I mean? It wasn't about that. I was so scared and I would shy away from it. And it made me feel so tiny. And I told my brother Josh, and he was, you know what I mean? So when I told him, getting the feedback off him, and he's saying, this happened, this happened in my family. And and I told him I need to do this, man. I need to confront him because I feel so small. It's making me feel every day I can't do nothing. I can't think. I can't like do anything without thinking about this and feeling less. And so I confronted this mother at Walmart. There's a video. I got a video of it. I confronted him. Um, that was huge. And then to put the video on the internet was even crazier because I'm a cool guy. I play basketball and I got friends and shit. And I don't want people to know I was molested. Like,
Right.
you know, I'm sure you've heard, like if you're sitting around with your friends, like this came up a few times, like, they talk about somebody being raped or molested. And, as guys, we're like, shit, that ain't happening to me. That, like, that shit ain't happening to me. Hell no, I would never let. And so I
That
was scared
that's
I was scared
exactly
to
how
hear
me and
that.
my friends talk in those exact words.
Yes, exactly, bro. I was sitting around that saying, yeah, hell no. You know what I mean? So when I came out and I posted that video, um, I was very, very nervous. I was very scared about what people could think about me. But right away, 6, 7, 8 people
Yep.
my
Yep.
age came out and they said he did that same thing to me. And then I seen all these people. Basically, everybody was like, "I'm here for you. Like, I'm sorry. This happened to me. This and that." And it lifted this weight off of my shoulders, like you would not
But
believe.
Jay,
I cannot.
but that's so wonderful because I'm sure of some of them thought they were crazy or making it up or they
Mhm.
didn't want to think about it. And when they see it's
Yes.
not just me, it's like, oh wait a minute, Jay's a real person. I could talk to him about this. I can kind of move on and resolve this. That's really great that you did that.
Yeah, honestly, that's the best thing I've ever done in my entire life. It's the best thing for me. Like you said, people came out, and I thought when I confront him, what if he just says like, I didn't do that, I didn't do that, and that, that was like, what if he just says I didn't do it, and now I kind of look stupid, and it's just you once you call it your predator, he's not going to be too smooth. It doesn't, it doesn't, for anybody that's listening that wants to do that, that's thinking about it. It doesn't matter what the fuck they say. All that matters is what you say to them. That's the biggest thing, is that you confronted them and you said that. And so once that happened, I had a lot of people reach out to me and say, I want to do the same, but I don't feel strong enough, whatever. So I've since then I've helped two people. One of them's called Logan Story. He was molested and everything, and he called out his abuser. That guy's in jail now,
Oh,
actually,
yeah.
because of the video. And another person, it was a lady who was raped by her stepdad at the time for 16 years, and I helped her confront her abuser. She confronted him. The things these motherfuckers say when you're confronting them. I promise you, please, if you're thinking about it, contact me if you need help. Let's do it. Just to see these people's faces, it's crazy. They're so, you're like in a shell. You're stuck, and then when you break free and you say you confront them and you say it out loud, because like telling a friend, hey man, this happened to me, that's one thing. Confronting them, that's another thing. And then letting people find out about it is like, there's pretty big walls to break through, but once you do it, I myself and the other two people that I helped, it's life changing, honestly, just the way you feel about yourself.
And it's just also great to have a resource that you're not the only one, and that other people who are otherwise quote unquote normal, you could talk to them and you don't have to go through those loops in your head and have that
Yes.
conversation and have help and be like, okay, like someone who hasn't been through this, I haven't been through this, so I can't really relate to it completely. But if you talk to
Right.
someone else who has, it's so much easier to have that conversation. No, you're not going to be judged. They're not
Yeah.
going to be freaked out. They are going to know what to say. And this is the kind of thing where it's so sick. It's if you don't address it, it's always going to be there in the back of your head. But once it's
Yeah.
resolved, it's like you can be. I had one very intense person reach out to me after Rogan, and he had been the victim. He became a drug addict because it was his uncle who was like working a bank, and everyone, he's the black sheep of the family. You're lying. He would never do that. This whole kind of thing. And now he's married, he's clean, married to a beautiful woman, and he's scared to have a kid because he's like, "I don't wanna do this to my kid." And I'm like, "Dude, if you're scared, you're not like, I'm telling you, like, it's not gonna like, this is your chance to be positive and go in a positive direction." So it fucks up people so bad for so long, and until it becomes more open and discussed, it's just gonna, and this is how they get away with it, because 'cause they're like, "No one's gonna believe you. You're a dumb little kid."
Yes, yes. If I wouldn't have called out my guy, he was still working around kids, and like that's what that's another, like you said, that's another huge aspect. Is like think about other people as well. Try to think about that person that you could help, because they're gonna take from you, and that person, that monster, did that shit. It wasn't just you. He did that shit to somebody else.
So, let's walk this through. Before you confronted your abuser, you must have had,
Mhm.
I'm not even, you must have had like kind of like a panic attack or close to it, right?
Oh man, I honestly I drove. It went on for about maybe 2 months, where I would drive by his house and I would say, "Today's the
Yeah,
day,
yeah.
today's the day, today's the day," and I would drive by his house and I would just drive by and I would go, "Maybe tomorrow, maybe I'm gonna do it tomorrow, maybe And honestly, man, the day that I did confront him, I drove by his house and then I drove into the cemetery. He wasn't at his house. He was, every time I would drive by, he wouldn't be there. And so, but I should, in my mind, I was like, just stay there and wait for him. But I got too scared. And so I drove to the cemetery that was really close to his house. And I sat there for a second and I told myself, that not today. I'm not going home feeling like a bitch. I'm not doing it today. And I started my car up to drive out of that cemetery, and this mother comes driving by me. And so I'm like, oh shit, today really is the day. You know what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, man, it's huge.
Well, no, so like, look, can you walk us through it, like that thought process? I mean, were you scared that he was going to do something? Like,
Okay. Yeah, my bad. I kind of lost where I was going. Yeah, I was very, very scared. I was, like I said, I was worried. Honestly, at that time, I was worried. what is he gonna say? Because at first, this is the first battle. Obviously, I'm gonna make this video. I'm gonna put it out there for people to see. But at the time, I wasn't really thinking about that. I was really just like, what's this? I need to just say something to him. And when I say something to him, my biggest fear was like, what if he's like, dude, you're fucking crazy. Get the away from me. You're crazy. You're crazy. And then it's kind of like it would put me back and like, shit, what do I say now? And he did kind of say that. He was saying like, what are you talking about? But I was so like, no, I was bringing up times like, remember when you did this and when you did that. And it was like it's like a fight. It was about like a fight. I had to get myself ready to,
Yeah.
prepped up to be like, all right, this is it, man. Like go into this and don't be scared and just, you need to do this shit. And so, calling out certain times and saying certain memories and things, you would see it in his face, and he would go, "I didn't." He'd start lying and shit, and that's where you can kind of that's where I would get him. But yeah, that was it was very scary. It was very intimidating almost, even though, like I said, he wasn't bigger than me. But even in my mind, I
Yeah.
kind of when I would think about him, I would think about him how I did when I was a kid, when I was smaller, and so it with you. But you gotta do it because the reward and the payoff, it's like I said, it's life changing to see him. I call it power shifting.
Yes.
I,
Yeah.
I take back the power, and I'm saying, you know what? I'm not going to hold on to this shit no more. Here you go. You can have it. It's yours to deal with now. Like I've been holding on to it. It's been in the back of my mind. I've been thinking about it. I haven't done anything about it. But now I'm about to give it to you because once I say this shit to you, I'm free.
What
And now it's your
what
problem.
what happened as a consequence?
For him
Yeah.
for that. So I called him out. I went to Josh. I showed Joshua the video, and he was like, "Man, this is fucking powerful. People need to see this." I believe a couple of days later, I actually messaged him and I was like, hey, I'm about to post this video. If you want to meet me and talk to me and tell me why the fuck you molested me, I gave him another chance to kind of talk to me. I wanted because he didn't. I wanted him to say I'm sorry
Hold
or
on,
something.
Jay. We've all gotten some crazy DMs, but I think you wrote the craziest DM of all time.
I was wilding. I was wilding, Mike. I
Okay.
was on it. And I gave him a chance. I was like, I'm about to post this video. Like, let me know if you want to talk again. He read it and he didn't message back. So we posted that video at 4 o'clock. And I went to watch my daughter's soccer game. I came back and Facebook had gone crazy in my community. Where I'm from, Fremont, Ohio, is like 18,000 people. And everybody was just, people were in there saying he did this to them and people were telling their stories. And at 11 o'clock that night, he committed suicide.
Oh,
Yeah, killed himself.
wow. Did you go to the
Yeah,
funeral?
hell no.
Why?
No, I
You're not see, you're
didn't.
American, right? See,
Yeah.
I'm Russian. So when we get a scalp, you go see them in the box and you laugh. That's how we operate.
Damn, I should have did
Cold.
that. That would be
It's
cold.
cold. We're cold. We're very cold people. Not gonna lie. Um, how did that make you feel?
Honestly, at first, well, mixed feelings, but
Yeah.
at first I was like, I wanted to see him because I had seen him. I got out of the army and I've been in my hometown for about 3 years before this happened. 3, 4, or 5 years maybe before I called him out. And so I had been seeing him every year, like once or twice at the fair. And so, I knew I was every time I see him, lost. I see him somewhere, and I just feel like a loser,
Yeah, yeah.
And I wanted to give him that. I wanted him to look at me and have to feel like, and have to be scared, and have to turn and run and shit. And so I wanted that smoke. And so that was what I was first feeling. And then I was like, well, he killed himself because he did this shit to so many other people, and he was actively around like elderly people. He was helping like people that just people that couldn't take care of
Yeah, yeah.
themselves, and kids and shit. So I was like, he's dead. He can't hurt nobody else.
Did he have any family of his own?
Yeah, he had a son. He has kids and shit. Yeah, I think his son messaged me and was like, my fucking dad didn't do that. I'm gonna beat your ass and
Oh,
shit like
okay.
that.
Well, I mean, the
Yeah.
the thing is, as you know perfectly well, a lot of times the kids are their own, next targets. That's extremely common in situations like this. Hey, folks, Michael Malice here, tolerated author, Twitter asshole, and sheath underwear model. I love wearing sheath. I wear it every single day. They're the most comfortable briefs you'll ever wear. Every time you hear my voice, you should know I'm wearing sheath. And what makes sheath different is that they have dual pouch technology. They have one pouch for one part of your male anatomy, another pouch for another part of your male anatomy. Sounds weird, but when you put them on, they're going to be super comfortable. They keep you cool in the hot weather, keep you nice and snug in an interview, on a date, doing a podcast, so on and so forth. After you tried Sheath, you're never going back to the other brands. Support the underwear that supports you. Go to sheathunderwear.com, use promo code Malice. You get 20% off. That's sheathunderwear.com, promo code MALICE, 20% off. They've got shirts, they've got hoodies, they've got mesh ones. They have something for you. They also have a girls line, but since women aren't allowed to listen to the show, I can't help you. Sheathunderwear.com, promo code Malice. Let's get back to the show. What I'm curious about, and I don't want to get into detail, certainly if you don't feel comfortable about it, is this was something that happened with you repeatedly, right? With him?
Yeah.
How
Yeah. Because,
how does that happen? Like, can you explain to people what they could teach their kids to
right.
this is, if it's, that's the thing people don't realize. It's not a one-off. Sometimes it becomes, I'm going to use this word extremely loosely, a relationship.
So, and I'll be honest with you, Michael, man, I hate talking about this shit, dude, because it makes me feel really like, gay or whatever you want to call it. So he was my basketball coach. I'm really into basketball. Basketball is my life growing up and shit. And he was my basketball coach from the time I was like 8 years old till like 12 years old. And he became like a family friend.
Yeah.
He was big in the community. He coached basketball for years. He was a juvenile detention center guard, and so yeah, he worked at the YMCA with kids, and so he put himself in the community a lot. So everybody knew Steve. Everybody knew this motherfucker. Everybody liked him. You know what I'm saying? All the kids liked him. He was the guy that he classically he would give you candy and shit. Like he was the coach, and after practice he would give everybody candy. Like everybody liked this mother.
Can
And
I
he came.
interrupt?
He
I gotta interrupt because I need to
yeah.
have a little bit of dark humor in here because this is just so fucked up.
Got to. I love it. I need it, man.
My
I need
my
it.
buddy Dave Landau, who's a comedian, he has this great bit which is true. And Dave, I apologize if I butcher your joke. Where when he was a kid, some guy pulled up in a van and tried to get him in the van. And Dave, maybe he's 8. He's like, I don't know about this. And he's like, come on, kid, I got some candy. And it's like, what was it? It's like, oh, I got some Butterfingers. And Dave's like, Butterfingers. And Dave's like, if he had some Twix, I'd be face down in a river.
Right. If his candy was a little better, I'd be. But
Yeah.
good thing he had the shitty stuff from last Halloween,
Yeah,
huh?
right. It's last Halloween Sour Patch Kids are all stale and they're not sour anymore. Fuck that. I'm calling my
Stupid
mom.
chopping.
So please go on. Sorry.
Right. So, so he would like. My dad died when I was 3,
Oh
and
wow.
so when you look at the kids that he molested, we all did. None of us had dads. None of us had dads. None of us had moms that were at home all the time. My mom worked 12-hour shifts. She's always gone. I got an older brother, so it's just me and him doing whatever we want all the time. And so moms without fathers in your life, those I feel like that's the number
You know what it
one
is? You
person
know
that
what's so sick about this is that the word predator is so correct because it's not like, again, like someone who's 16 and their coach and people get drunk or high. I'm just trying to get to something that makes a little bit of sense. They know this is my target and I'm going to lay the steps in place step by step. So it's a long game plan. It's not some one-off thing, this one afternoon, which is also complete crazy, let me be clear, but they are waiting and waiting, and they go to where the kids are too, and they profile them. They're profiling the kids.
exactly they're picking wisely with these kids. They're not picking kids with good dads.
Right.
He didn't pick any of the kids that show up to basketball practice with their dad. You know what I'm saying? And so that tells a lot for mothers out there to really, really
Yeah,
be
yeah.
careful and stuff. And I mean, yeah. And so he did that. He played the long game, man, and he did that with all his victims. And what he did was, I was I wanted to be in the NBA. I wanted to be a basketball player growing up, and he used that against me like a mother. He, like I said, he worked at the YMCA and he was the basketball coach. So if I wanted to go play basketball, I had to go see him.
Oh my god.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I want to play basketball every day, all day. And so he would use basketball against me. And and when I say that, our relationship he would tell me, I'm gonna be like your dad. I'm gonna be your
Oh
dad. You don't have
god.
a dad. Yes, I'm gonna be your dad. You don't have one. You like me. I'm cool, ain't I? And he's taking me to basketball tournaments and shit. And I'm like, yeah, this is cool. And then when shit started getting really, really weird, he would do something really weird. He would, molest me or something, and then he would play his relationship with me. He would say, he would just be really mean, and he would use basketball like, I'm not gonna. If you want to be me, if you don't want to talk to me, because obviously after he would do something like that, I'd be like, not trying to. We'd be a lot of times it would be at a basketball tournament, so there's no way home.
Yeah,
You know what
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Like it would always be like where there's no, I can't just go home now. Like there's a 4 hour drive home. I have to deal with him. I'm in his car. You know what I'm saying? He knows all that. So he would use basketball and time against me. Like, oh, if you don't like me, if you don't want to, if you don't want to, if you don't want to, if you don't like me, if you don't want to be on this basketball team anymore, if you don't, you want to stop talking to me, then you know, say goodbye to basketball, like shit like that. And so, yeah, man, that's really he would play it like that. And so it kind of turned into just me being scared and not playing basketball. And then I think one time I was like, like I don't think I'm gonna play basketball anymore. And then it was like my mom was like, "What are you doing? Like you're going to the Y today? Like that's where I take you. I take you to the Y." And then I didn't want to tell her. I didn't feel comfortable telling her. I didn't. Just being a kid, man. Obviously, I can look at it now and I'd say I should have told. I should have spoke up. I should have said something. But being a kid and just being
I gotta
dumb.
disagree because when someone is like a quote unquote pillar of their community, especially in a town that's not that big, and you're this one kid, it's just like Jay's crazy. Look what he's doing to this family man or this coach that everyone loves and respects. What a freaky kid, and then you're ostracized. That could have been you in that box.
Yeah, I was really scared of that, man. And honestly, I didn't. Yeah,
People
it was
don't
just
wanna
all
believe it.
fun.
They would rather believe the kid is lying than that they tell the
Yeah,
truth. So, like, it's not that easy for that kid to say and you know what else is really sick? This happens a lot. There was a girl in my high school, ugh, and her brother was with her, and she told her parents, they're like, "You don't know what you're talking about. Like, shut up." This happens all the time. Or, like, where the mom has a boyfriend or a
yeah,
boyfriend, and the mom chooses the
yes,
boyfriend over their kids. This happens all the
that's
time.
huge. That's huge. Shitty parents, and yeah, that's the worst. I hate hearing that one. Honestly, that's the most common one,
Yeah,
Michael. Honestly,
yes.
is they told their mom, but their mom didn't believe them.
Have you
And then
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, and then what do you do once you tell your mom, like, and she don't believe you? What the do you do then? Like,
Yeah, you start drinking and taking drugs, that's what happens, that always ends
yeah,
up happening.
right,
Wait, why do
yeah.
they always dress in these terrible shirts tucked into Dockers? They always have the same it's like a uniform. You could spot it from space, like, what the
You really can, man. Like before we did this, you would see somebody that looked like a predator. We all know what they look like. And then, we'd be like, well, maybe they're, no, them up are probably weird. Like that's them. Like it's crazy. It's like, even if they're like black or white, like it seems to like form them. It seems to, right?
Yeah,
It seems to build them in their body language and how they look and talk, and
yeah.
yeah.
So I saw on your Wikipedia that there was a death involved in this situation. Can we talk about this? Is that accurate?
What? Wait, in what
That
terms?
someone got shot.
Oh shit. Well, we've had, like I said, we've had from calling the predators out. We've had 5 people kill themselves.
Okay.
But I got shot. I got shot catching a child predator. He tried to kill me. He shot me in my leg though, and then we beat his ass and got the gun out of there. But and then the police, we all got the same charge. He didn't get in trouble for trying to meet up a kid. He wanted to take a 12-year-old girl to the woods. So he wanted to have sex with her and take her to the woods, and he brought a gun. So I mean, imagine what he would have did to that little girl.
Jesus Christ.
You know what I'm saying?
Wait, so
But
what's it feel like to get shot?
man, honestly, the adrenaline was going, and when he shot me, the first thing. He my buddy Joshua Mundy, he's the one who had the phone up on him, and immediately he grabbed his phone to take from Josh, and they wrestled with the phone for about 1 second, and as soon as Josh ripped his phone away, he just split second grabbed his gun and pulled it out, and I grabbed that shit, and we're twirling around in Target, in the middle of Target, we're twirling around, and he's like, oh, you fucked up now, you
Wait,
about to
wait.
die now.
Jay, dumbass. If you're in Marshalls, you'll be fine. It's called Target for a reason, stupid.
Right. God damn it, man. And they didn't have cameras in there. Would you believe they had no cameras in there? None.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Holy.
In Target, in the main aisle, in the main section, like in between the food.
Yeah.
No cameras. So me and him are twirling around the gun. He's telling me, you're about to die. Like, you better keep your hands on this shit. You're dead. You're done. And that's why I'm wrestling with this gun with this mother. And then Josh comes and we get on and we all go to the ground. And he's telling us, you're about to die. And he shoots. And as soon as he shoots, I feel it in my leg, in my knee. And the first thing I thought was stand up to see if like I can, if this shit's done or not. And as soon as I stood up, my body told me, kick the out of this motherfucker.
Yeah.
So I just started beating the shit out of him, and I ran away. And I mean, God bless God, whoever the is watching me, man. I'm fine. I can run. I'm good. And so I'm very blessed right there. But that shit hurt a little bit, but my adrenaline was going crazy because as soon as we fucked him up and he got up, I didn't know where the gun was, and I was like, shit, he might get the gun again. We gotta go. So we ran and stuff. We ran away. We tried to get away, and he continued to, like, we got out into the car, and 20, 30 cops are coming to Target, and I'm like, I need to go see my kids. The only thing I could think of at that time was I need to go home. I'm 8 hours away from home. I'm like, I need to go home. And so we start driving to go to leave. And my buddy Josh is like, we need to go to the hospital. We need to go back and talk to the police. And I'm like, we're going home. And I look in the rearview mirror, and this motherfucker, we make eye contact, and we start going on a high-speed chase, a 30-minute high-speed chase, and he's trying to catch up to us and shit. He's like, come here. I'm like, oh, hell no. He's about to pull out the other gun.
Yeah.
But
wait a minute. So you weren't bleeding like crazy?
I was bleeding like crazy. Yeah, I just tied my shirt around it, and
that shit works like in the movies.
It worked, man.
But then what did you do?
I soldiered on.
Did you go to the hospital eventually?
I went to the hospital 9 hours later when we got to my hometown, Fremont, Ohio.
Okay.
But I still got a bullet in me. I have like a piece of the bullet in my knee, but nothing serious. Okay. Like no major. Yeah.
Wow. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So that's just absolutely crazy. So what percent of them that you've made contact with would you say actually end up pulling the trigger to get to the meetup?
50%. I'll say 50% of the guys are like, once they're cool with the age, 50% they want to make sure you're not a cop or somebody like that. So they go on this spree of trying to make you prove yourself that you're a kid. And then I'll say 50%. Honestly, about 50% say no. Whatever, but 50% are coming for sure.
That's so crazy if you think about any dating apps, what your success rate's going to be. and 15
Yeah.
is just it's here's the other question. Have any of them ever told you or the character that you're the kid that you're playing that they've done this before?
Oh yeah. Yeah. The last guy I caught, he said, let's see. He said he raped a boy 1 month prior in a hotel. He said I raped a boy. He told me this on the phone. He said I just had sex with a 15-year-old. I said I was 13. He said I just had sex with a 15-year-old at a hotel. And then once we were there with him, we said, "Tell us about that kid. Tell us who the it was and everything." And he opened up. He admitted to it.
Why?
And yeah, because I said I got the messages where you said you messed with a boy. Tell me what the happened. And then he started saying, "Oh, I didn't actually have sex with him. We just did stuff." And it's like, okay,
Oh my god.
yeah, a lot of. I mean, I would say a smaller number will admit to doing it before, probably 10%, 20%, but it's definitely happened way. Yeah,
Oh,
it's happened.
oh god, here's another question that I want to ask, but so if you're doing this and you're meeting up with these guys, right? And you're being a decoy, does that mean they actually are kids on these apps who are trying to do this?
Yeah, man. Unfortunately, they're like sometimes, like a few times we've came into contact with like people that they're like, "Hey, I'm 16 too," and then we just block. We gotta block them. And then like there's guys that we meet that they say they told us like I've talked to other boys on there. I've met other boys off of this app. So yeah, I mean there are kids because like one of the biggest things is really it's grinder. So a little girl, and an adult man, it's a little bit different. But with an adult gay man, they feel more comfortable with the gay boy because they look at that little boy like I was him
Okay.
before. And so a lot of times those predators will say, I was on here when I was 15, so I understand why you're doing it.
The thing is, I told my friend Matt because he's his predator was another kid, right? It wasn't an adult, and I told him to reach out to. This is my Russian brain. I told him to reach out to that kid who's now an adult and tell him I forgive you, because either it's going to give him a sense of peace, or he's gonna blow his brains out because he can't handle what he did to some other kid, knowing now as an adult how screwed up that was. So it's win-win. And he didn't do it, but like that's what I encouraged him to do. Folks, head over to malice.locals.com where Jay took questions exclusively from supporting listeners. So just to be clear, if I really wanted to my friend's shit up, all I got to do is set up a Grinder account, talk to you, and tell him to go to Marshall's at 4 o'clock. And then
Yeah,
it's gonna be the prank of the century.
right. Yeah, he would be. Yeah, you could do that, huh? I didn't never really thought about that, honestly. You
Again, the
could
Russian
do.
brain. It's like, oh yeah, hey, here's the gift
Yeah,
certificate to Marshalls. Knock
right.
yourself out. Pun intended.
That would be so fucked up, dude.
Hold
That
on.
would be sick, man.
Let me just write this down. Okay. Dave Smith. Jay, how can people learn more about your work and support you if they so choose?
Well, follow me on socials, Jay Carnicom. If you just look up Jay Carnicom, you can find most of my socials. That's where I know being taken off YouTube. You've been taken off YouTube
No,
before?
no, I know how to do the
No.
dance, mother.
Okay, you're way better than me. We've been taken down off YouTube so many times, and so the only place that really is with us right now is locals. So you go to my locals, Jay Carnicom Dap on Twitter. You can see all full videos, everything I got, all phone conversations with these guys, just everything at Jay Carnicom Dap locals. That'd be the biggest one. I appreciate you.
Oh, and oh God, I'm scared to ask. I just thought of this. What emojis do these predators use the most?
The fucking the tongue emoji, the little
No,
that one,
no, really?
the little
I would
ass
assume it'd be the
one.
eggplant. It's the tongue.
And it's the eggplant and the tongue, and then yeah, that's it. Really, the eggplant. Gross.
All right, Jay. First of all, welcome to Austin. We'll exchange info. I definitely want to meet up while you're here
Appreciate
for
you.
like at least a year.
Yeah, I'm here. I bought a house here,
Oh,
so I'm
so
here.
you're here. That's so
Yeah,
cool. So we'll definitely
yeah, I'm here.
hang IRL. We'll go to Marshalls. I'll pick someone out who's rubbed me the wrong way. You'll take care of the
I got
rest. I
you.
got you.
Yes, let's
Um,
do it.
we're running out of time. What has been your favorite part of this interview?
Man, just talking to Michael Malice, dude. I've been following you for a minute. I've been keeping up with you. I'm not too politically, but the first time you came on, you went on Joe Rogan. Obviously, I seen you on Joe and you had this crazy outfit on. I was like, who is this guy? I forget what you were wearing, but I was like, what is this? Like, what the fuck? Do you remember what it was that you were wearing?
I don't think I ever wore anything crazy on Rogan. I wear them on Lex and Tim Pool a lot.
Okay, it might have been Lex. I think it was Lex. I was like, what is this guy? Is he a comedian or what? So I started following you from there. So man, just having me on, bro, is crazy, man. And my boy Joshua Money, he's a big fan too. So this has just been and you honestly, I don't like to talk about being sexually assaulted, but it is the most important
Yes.
to tell people, to tell other victims out there to power through, and you can do this. You got this shit. And obviously, it doesn't make you any way. You didn't do it. It was done to you. It's like if a car accident happens to you, you're not mad at yourself for getting in a car accident. It just happened to you. So, that's awesome, man. I appreciate you bringing that up because that's big. That's gonna change lives. You know what I mean?
You are welcome.
Hi, we're the Nemeth Bros. I'm Nick, and he's Ryan, and I'm a 20-plus year pro wrestling veteran, amateur comedian, F-list actor, wannabe lawyer. I once ate a 96-ounce steak, and we have a new podcast because we finally got some time on our plate called the Nemeth Bros. The Nemeth Bros.
Hey, Nick, what is this podcast about?
This podcast is going to be about stories from the road for the past 20-plus years of my pro wrestling career, winning world championships, injuries, everything in between that you can think of. Stories about you and I putting together a comedy tour, you and I doing skits, me being an F-list actor, on-set stuff, and of course, Q&A, answered questions in depth from the fans who want to hear them the most.
Hey, what if I want to have special guests on that are like famous comedians or showbiz types?
There's no rules. This is America. Bring them in.
Hey, if we're bragging about accomplishments, I have been an extra on Jimmy Kimmel Live 27 times. Follow, rate, and review the Nemeth Bros podcast at Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen to podcasts.
The Nemeth Bros.
I love reality TV on Pluto TV.
Same, and I love that it's free.
It gives me the freedom to watch Bravo's Real Housewives Vault channel.
I'm totally free to watch Bad Girls Club.
I'm free for Jersey Shore.
Love and Hip Hop, I'm free all day.
Survivor, I'm free all night.
With hundreds of free reality shows, you are totally free to watch what you love on Pluto TV.
Pluto TV. Stream now, pay never.